Hello and welcome back to my accountability tracker. My name is Daniel and today I will be going through my March budget with y'all. So some of y'all might be wondering, hey, where have you been? How's life? Why haven't you posted a Tuesday or Tuesday in the past 2 weeks? Any updates? And what I'll tell you, as you can sort of watch on screen as well as I do my March budget, is I had a very tumultuous past 2 weeks. And I wasn't able to hit a lot of my goals. I had quite a few medical bills pop up, which is unfortunate. Long story short, my health insurance accidentally just stopped, or lapsed, I think is the official term, for no reason. Um, my health insurance is linked through my enrollment at my school, and as a result, because my school, for whatever reason, categorized me as part-time, even though I was full-time. They bumped me off of the health insurance, even though I was still paying the premium. I digress. It was a whole mess. And so, of course, I happened to have a medical appointment or two, and they decided to ask me to pay out of pocket. And I didn't realize that I didn't have health insurance until that moment, which was really unfortunate. So I should be able to get this all back. But anyway, I had several $100s of an overage last month. I wasn't able to contribute to my Roth IRA for the second half of the month, and I think the only Transfer Tuesday amounts I was able to do was like credit card cashback and stuff like that, which is unfortunate, but I digress. It is what it is. You'll see those videos sometime soonish, because I'm finally in the headspace to think about finances again, but this is why we have emergency funds, right? So that said, looking at my income, because I kind of neglected that as I went on my rant, I have my two normal incomes from my job and my side job. I tutor and I get $300 in cash for that, and I'm expecting about $32 of cash back this month, which is an average of all the cash back that I typically make per year, I guess, divided by 12. And so that'll be $4,134.25. This is all my gross income, so I have not taken out taxes because I like to operate off of gross salaries. And you'll see why, because I also have some pre-tax stuff taken out. And for those of you who have not been watching, or if you're new, because I kind of just jumped straight into the updates, I'm a PhD student, and this is actually quite a bit of money for a PhD student to make, and I'm very grateful for that. But PhD students should not have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to be able to make ends meet, and unfortunately, I do. So it is what it is, because I cannot live off of just my income one just yet, although I'm working on it. So what you see here as well is a $50 rollover from last month, and that's because I bought an Instacart gift card before all my medical issues that popped up, medical insurance issues, and that $50 was put on a credit card that yielded me 5% cash back at the place that I purchased it from. So that's just a fun little way to make money on the side, I guess, because I know I'm going to use that Instacart gift card very soon for groceries. So I budget off of a pay yourself first kind of vibe. That was so not the right eloquent term, but I pay myself first. And so what you'll see here is first me describing the investments and savings I'll make this month, or that I've projected to make. For my Roth, I'm putting in $583.33, which if you multiply that by 12, that will be the maximum contribution that I can make as someone under the age of 50 to my Roth IRA. I'm also contributing $150 to my 403b, and I will say it's March 3rd as I'm filming this. Those first two have already left my account, so those contributions have already been made. I do not have access to that money anymore, and that's why we pay ourselves first, because I cannot somehow dip into that if I want to buy random things. Right now I've also budgeted $300 of extra contributions, and as a placeholder I have my penny challenge in there. I don't budget anything because the challenge part is that I take it from my spending money, and so right now I have $0 budgeted, and by the end of the month hopefully I'll have somewhere between $30 and $50 maybe. But so I'm trying to save $1,033.33, of which a little under 700 has already been saved, or a little over 700, sorry. For my bills, this is just like, cost of living, cost to survive kind of stuff. I can't really change these, but it is what it is. And actually, now that I think about it, one of these bills is going to be a medical bill that I was able to put on a payment plan, because I really don't like taking money out of my emergency fund if I don't absolutely have to, like if I have the money in my budget. And so I decided to put it on payment plan because I already have the money, and it's 0%, and it's just 2 months, but it splits it up a little bit. But everything else, because I'll detail that a little bit later in the video as well. Everything else I did just have to pay as one lump sum out of my February budget, or as a overage from my February budget. So my rent is $14.20 a month, which is incredibly high for a single person living in a low cost of living city as compared to the coastal city that I grew up on. But it makes it so that way I don't need a car. So huge fan of my rent, actually. Huge fan of my apartment. My electric bill was a little bit lower this month because February was warmer, which is nice. My water and sewer, I'm budgeting $85. They have not taken it out of my paycheck or out of my bills for like 3 months now, which is weird, but I'm just saving up. My internet is $55.41. My medical bill is $51.12. And that was actually the cheapest one. So of course that's the one that I can put on a payment plan, but whatever. And my deductions, so like school fees, my bus pass, my gym membership, that kind of stuff, is $62.97. And the total amount there, just to survive, sheesh, is almost $2,000. That's a lot of money. I can't wait to own my own home one day in, 40 years, but I digress. One day I won't have to pay that, but until then, it is what it is. So going back to this notion of paying yourself first, I also have some sinking funds that I like to contribute to. For those of you who are unfamiliar, a sinking fund is basically money that you pay a little bit toward every single paycheck or month or whatever interval you choose, and it's for an expense that you know will come up, or an expense that you may not be able to estimate how much it will be, but you know that you can sort of prepay it. So here I have annual subscriptions. That's a very specific amount because if you multiply that by 12, it's the sum of every single annual subscription I have. So I have a website that I use for my master's degree that I like to keep up. I have a contacts order that's about $240. I have some fish oil supplements that's about $100 a year, that kind of thing. For my gift and Christmas savings account, I put in $25 a month, which is $300 a year, which is more than enough, quite honestly. I don't buy people lavish things because I don't have lavish gift money just yet. For Costco, I'm putting in $25. That will already be spent by the time that this is up, by the way, which, oof. I love Costco, but they robbed me blind. But it's also the cheapest per unit store, so it is what it is. For vacations, I'd love to save for a big vacation for when I finish my PhD, but right now it's just $25 a month. I'm speaking a little bit more slowly than the video is going, so I apologize for that, but the last thing on my budget was my taxes, and so this is where my deductions for my paycheck go. So that was $450 and some change. It's actually supposed to be higher, but because of my 403B contribution, I do lower my taxable income a little bit, which is really nice. Not that it matters, grand scheme of things, because I definitely don't have enough money to max out my 403B right now. That's $22,000 a year or something like that. When I have that kind of money to be able to invest it for the future, I would be a very happy camper, but right now I make a little less than $45,000 a year. I do not have the ability to save 50% of my income just yet. So I have 4 spending categories, which I'm going to detail in a second, or I guess right now, as I'm still writing everything out. The first is groceries, and, actually, what I do want to mention is, in the month of March, I am going back to visit family, and when I do that, they typically cover all my expenses. Like, we rarely go out to eat or anything like that, but they'll cover it. If we do go out, maybe I'll contribute something, but it's not really anything particularly large that they expect of me because they know that I don't make as much money as them, which is really nice of them. So I'm only budgeting for 3 weeks of expenses. So it's $100 a week for groceries, $10 a week for coffee shops, $25 for restaurants, and $20 for miscellaneous, sort of guilt-free expenditures. You'll see that my grocery budget is a little bit wonky just because that's how I needed to make it for my overall paycheck budget to zero out at the end of this document. But $300 for 3 weeks of groceries is more than enough. You'll actually notice from last month I used to do $125 a week, and I'm doing $100 a week. It's kind of a challenge, but honestly, that's still a lot of money. I've really worked on my grocery budget for the past couple months now, and I'm a lot better at consuming everything that I purchase, shopping my pantry, that kind of stuff. So lastly, I have my iCloud subscription, which is $2.99. It's definitely worth a line item, but it's not breaking the bank by any means. And then I have these 3 sort of miscellaneous weird categories. So I like to budget at least $75 for giving, I typically go over this, let's be real, but it's not a concern. I just give, and I don't think about it. I didn't get a haircut in February. I'm going to get one in March, definitely, because my hair looks wacky. But I'll be able to go to my old barber, which is nice. And then lastly, here's the bulk of the medical expenses. I had $233.71 that I had to pay out of February that I actually just put on my credit card, knowing that I'd be able to pay it off in my March budget. To be clear, I have this money in an emergency fund, but I really don't like to touch the emergency fund if I don't have to. That's really if my paycheck comes late or something like that, and I need to cover rent now, which has never actually happened, and I'm not trying to speak into existence, but it is what it is. So, with all that said, if you take my income, subtract all these expenses, it's $0. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. This is the sort of not pre-filmed part of the video, so I'm just going to be chatting for a bit. But yeah, lots of updates. My March is supposed to be pretty simple. I actually really just need to work my dissertation this month. That's the only thing I got. A lot of my work deadlines finished in the past couple weeks, or really in the past week. Monday, I have a really big article submission thing due. If you're in academia, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it is what it is. I feel like I've been really working myself thin, which is not good because I have so many things I need to work on, and I don't know. There's this really weird catch-22 of, in order to afford to live while making a graduate student stipend, I need to work multiple jobs, but also my working those jobs comes at the expense of my ability to complete my dissertation at the time that I want to complete it in, which means that I'm still stuck in the cycle of having to work the lower paid jobs rather than just finishing the dissertation. So what I really need to do is win the lottery, and then I can finish my dissertation really soon, relatively speaking, and then I can get a proper job. That's the state of academia, isn't it? Oh my goodness. I know I say this at the end of every video, but I really need to start putting my accountability stuff for non-financial things up on this website or on YouTube pretty shortly, and I'll figure out how that's going to work probably in the next week or so, ideally. If you made it this far, please put in comments over the next couple weeks, hey Daniel, where's your accountability videos that aren't financial? We'd love to know how you're doing with your PhD, how you're doing with your health journey, that kind of stuff. What I will say is I chatted with one of my best friends the other day, and she and I started chatting about athletic stuff and how we wanted to not have our teen years be our healthiest years in terms of physical fitness. Because I was a 3-sport athlete back in high school, which is still so surreal to think about. And I used to work out a lot, and obviously that was different back then. I didn't have to work 2 jobs just to survive. And school was school. And now school is work. And I want to not give myself so many excuses as to why I'm not happy with how far or fast I can run or how much weight I can lift, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm working on now. And then when it comes to my PhD and sort of my progress toward the end of the degree, I've been really focusing on my dissertation proposal because I need to formally propose it to the university before I can start it, which means that I have this one big hurdle left before I can actually do the really big thing, which is the dissertation itself, which is notoriously a very large undertaking. So we'll see how that goes, but I want to get a draft done by the end of the week. It's going to be 50 to 80 pages depending on citations. I have 5 pages right now, so pray for me if you're watching this, if you made it this far. Keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers. This will be a rough week for me, but I feel really confident in my ability to chip away at the very least. I have a really big meeting with my boss/advisor on Thursday, and I don't want him to be disappointed in me, so I should probably cut this video and start working my dissertation, right? But anyway, thank you all so much if you made it this far to the end. I look forward to hearing any comments you have in the replies. Feel free to comment, subscribe, share, whatever. And thank you for coming back if you're a returning subscriber. If you aren't, feel free to become one. And around right now is when you'll be getting suggestions for other videos of mine to watch. So yeah, take care. Have a great day.